September 19, 2025. Another flashpoint in the South China Sea. A Philippine resupply mission to the second Thomas Shoal turns chaotic as a Chinese Coast Guard vessel allegedly rams a Philippine ship. Is this the latest escalation in a long simmering dispute? We're breaking down what happened, why it matters, and what could come next. On September 19th, Philippine Coast Guard was doing resupply mission for the Filipino troops stationed on the BRP Sierra Madre, that grounded warship serving as a military outpost. Suddenly, a China Coast Guard vessel intercepts the Philippine supply boat. Accounts from Manila describe this as a deliberate ramming incident, causing damage to the vessel and endangering the crew. Beijing, however, tells a different story. They claim their vessel was conducting lawful enforcement activities and that the Philippine ship was the one that made dangerous maneuvers leading to a minor collision. This he said, she said scenario is typical, but the visual evidence and the context of the mission are crucial. The goal for the Philippines was simple: deliver food, water, and essential supplies to their soldiers. For China, the objective was to assert its claim over the shoal, which they call Renei Jiao, and to obstruct that resupply effort. The incident highlights the immense pressure and risk involved in these missions, which are becoming increasingly tense confrontations rather than simple logistical runs. In the immediate aftermath, Manila didn't hold back. The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs issued a strong diplomatic protest, condemning the illegal and aggressive actions of the China Coast Guard. They've stated this is a clear violation of international law, specifically citing the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. Remember, in 2016, an arbitral tribunal ruled in favor of the Philippines, invalidating China's expansive 9-line claim. Manila is leaning heavily on this ruling, arguing that the second Thomas Shoal falls squarely within its exclusive economic zone. This diplomatic protest isn't just a piece of paper. It's a formal declaration to the international community that the Philippines will not back down from what it considers its sovereign rights. It's a move to rally international support and put legal pressure on Beijing. Washington was quick to weigh in. A spokesperson for the U.S. State Department described the incident as dangerous and destabilizing. The United States reaffirmed its commitment to the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, stating that an armed attack on Philippine public vessels, aircraft, and armed forces, including those of its Coast Guard in the South China Sea, would invoke U.S. mutual defense commitments. This is a significant statement. It's a direct warning to Beijing that its actions have consequences beyond just its relationship with Manila. By invoking the treaty, the U.S. is raising the stakes, signaling that further aggression could potentially draw in the world's largest military power. This transforms a regional dispute into a matter of global geopolitical concern. To understand today's incident, we have to look at the past. This is not an isolated event, but part of a clear and escalating pattern. Over the last few years, we've seen numerous similar incidents. Remember the water cannons used against Philippine vessels, or the use of military-grade lasers to temporarily blind crew members? We've also seen swarming tactics, where dozens of Chinese maritime militia vessels surround Filipino boats to intimidate and block them. Each incident seems to test the boundaries a little more, pushing the envelope of what's considered acceptable. This pattern of harassment is a key part of China's strategy to gradually assert control over the area, making it impossible for the Philippines to maintain its presence without a major confrontation. It's a classic gray zone tactic designed to achieve strategic goals without triggering an all-out conflict. Let's pull up the maps to see exactly where this happened. Here is the second Thomas Shoal, known as Ayungin Shoal in the Philippines. As you can see, it's located about 105 nautical miles west of Palawan, well within the 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone of the Philippines as defined by UNCLOS. Now look at China's infamous 9-line. It sweeps down and encompasses almost the entire South China Sea, including this shoal. The collision occurred in these contested waters. The geography here is critical. The shoal is a submerged reef, and the BRP Sierra Madre was intentionally grounded there in 1999 to stake a claim. Maintaining that outpost is a symbol of Philippine sovereignty, which is precisely why China is so determined to cut it off. So, what's the verdict? Are we headed for a bigger escalation? The signs are worrying. With each incident, the risk of a miscalculation grows. A collision could lead to casualties, a damaged ship could sink, or a tense standoff could spiral into an exchange of fire. The Philippines, under its current administration, has taken a much firmer stance, publicizing these incidents and strengthening its alliance with the U.S. and other partners like Japan and Australia. China, on the other hand, shows no sign of backing down, viewing control of the South China Sea as a core national interest. This collision is another step up the ladder of escalation. The big question is, what happens when one of these incidents crosses a red line? The potential for a wider conflict is real and growing. The situation in the South China Sea is complex and constantly evolving. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.